What is up, my dashing dudes? I am the Hans TV, and I hope you guys are ready for some infuriating entitlement, because that's what we're getting in today's episode of r/Entitled Parents. Our first story for the day comes from Shy Girl Turned Sassy. You're going on vacation? Take my kids with you. My boyfriend's cousin, his paternal uncle's daughter, has 4 children. Each of her kids is the personification of the word bratty. The said cousin refuses to discipline them and constantly makes excuses for their behavior. She's also very judgmental of our decision to not have children. She has often made some snide comments towards me, implying that I'm the selfish grunt who is depriving my boyfriend of the joys of raising children. For these reasons, and for her generally entitled behavior, my boyfriend had cut ties with her. However, when he and I visited his parental home 3 days ago for his parents' anniversary celebration, we ran into her again. My boyfriend's dad had urged him to use this occasion to mend bridges with the cousin, so we both tried to make nice and engaged in small talk with her. During our conversation, boyfriend mentioned that we were leaving for Melbourne for a vacation in a few days. At this, cousin's eyes lit up. "Oh, that sounds like so much fun," she said. "My husband and I haven't gone anywhere since our honeymoon." She whined some more about how hard it is for them with 4 kids. If only they could afford such luxuries, etc., etc., etc. I could tell where this was going. My boyfriend probably felt sorry for her and, being the kind and generous soul that he is, offered to buy them a weekend in a resort in Mount Abu, a hill station in the Indian state of Rajasthan. Cousin, face scrunched up. "That's nice, but why can't you just take us to Melbourne with you?" Boyfriend, getting a bit annoyed but still patient. "Well, we want to spend some time alone together. Plus, we'll be meeting some close friends there. Besides, Mount Abu is a beautiful place. Your kids will love it." Cousin, in the annoying Karen tone, "I still don't see why you can't take us to Australia. You're being so selfish, going on this great trip and sticking your family with a cheap weekend getaway." Boyfriend's mom, cousin's name, "He's making a very generous offer. Either take it or leave it." Cousin, wearing the expression that morons wear when they think they've had a bright idea. "Oh, I know. Why don't my husband and I go to Mount Abu and you can take our kids to Melbourne?" Me, "What?" Cousin, "It's a great idea. The kids can have fun in Melbourne with you two, and my hubby and I can enjoy a peaceful weekend. This way the kids can actually spend some time with their uncle. You never make time for them." Boyfriend, "I'm offering this for the last time. It's either the weekend in Mount Abu or nothing at all. And why the hell would we ruin our vacation taking care of your kids?" Cousin, "How can you say that? My kids are so well behaved. You'll have so much fun spending time with them. Besides, my husband and I could really use some quiet time together. You and Shy Girl Turned Sassy don't have any responsibilities. You have no idea how hard it is to raise 4 kids. You can afford this trip. I don't see why you won't share with family." Boyfriend, "One more word and you're losing my Mount Abu offer." On hearing this, the cousin STFU. We all had dinner together and she was mercifully quiet. If only her kids had followed her example. You would think this would be the end of it, but no. We had seriously underestimated her dedication to her Karenness. This morning, cousin showed up at my apartment with the kids in tow. I was shocked to see her, of course, and asked if something was wrong. She smiled and said, "I'm just here to drop the kids off. You're leaving tonight, right?" After taking a second to recover from the shock, I asked, "Did you fall and hit your head on something? We told you we weren't taking your kids with us. What part of that did you not understand?" She then tried to convince me that boyfriend had called her later on and had agreed to take her kids. I knew this was BS and called it as such. Cousin became enraged and asked if I was going to break her kid's heart. Why would I break our promise and how boyfriend and I could be so cold? I called my boyfriend and after telling him what was going on, I turned on the speaker. My boyfriend proceeded to chew her out brutally, telling her that he would no longer pay for their weekend getaway and that this is the exact kind of behavior that made him cut ties with her. She tried to get a word in, but he wouldn't let her. Cousin took her kids and stormed off. Boyfriend and I are having a laugh over this and are still wondering what made her think that this plan would ever work. Yeah guys, let's just pawn our kids off on somebody because we don't want to deal with them, even though they've said multiple times that they will not be taking them, and then try to lie and say that the boyfriend said that they could. Yeah, that's definitely gonna work. Oh, also, can I mention the formatting on this post? Mwah. Beautiful. Our next story comes from my other ex account. Entitled mom has restoration work done on her house. Thinks she can come into my garden to avoid it. TLDR at bottom. Necessary backstory. This happened a few days ago, when I was home alone after school had ended. I'm 15 but look 18 with my height and deep voice. The entitled mom had moved into the house next door and I had only seen her and her kids once before. EM equals entitled mother, delusional. YK equals young kid, M. TN equals teenager, M. Me equals me, duh. So, it's 11 a.m. and I'm playing on my Xbox in the living room, which backs onto the garden through a glass door. I had the curtains drawn so the sunlight wouldn't make me blind and I could see what I was doing. With headphones on, I was happily playing games when I hear talking outside. I assumed it was the next door coming through the open window, but a few minutes after I heard knocking on the glass door. I pulled off my headphones and the knocking continued. I pulled back the curtain and saw the entitled mom relaxing on my parents' sun lounger, the young kid terrorizing my cat, and the teenager on his phone, as far away from the house as possible. Teenager was chill, I found out later, but young kid and entitled mom were both mental. Here is the exchange following my opening of the door. Me saying the first thing that came into my head, "What the freak?" Entitled mom looks up, "Don't say that in front of my children." Teenager, "I told you someone was here, Mom." Me, "Why are you in my garden and how did you get in?" Entitled mom, "Well, there is work being done in my house and my kids need a space to play." Me, "Go to the park then. Don't invade someone's back garden. Go back to your own house." Entitled mom screaming, "You can't say that to me. Do you know who I am? I am..." Me, "I know what you are, a criminal." Entitled mom, "What? I have done nothing wrong." Teenager, "Mom, you broke into this man's house. Just leave. This is embarrassing." Entitled mom, "No, not until this man says we haven't done anything wrong." Me, thinking to myself, they think I'm an adult? Saying out loud, "I could call 999 right now, or you could leave now and I won't have to take action, ma'am." Entitled mom, "I have done nothing wrong. There is too much work in my house and my kids need to exercise." Me, "There have been no vehicles entering or leaving this close since 7 a.m., which was the post van. I don't suppose the Royal Mail does restoration work nowadays, do they?" EM, "Fine then. I'll leave if that makes you happy, you prick. Come on, kids." Teenager rolls his eyes and gets up. Young kid grabs my cat and tries to leave. The cat scratches his face and he drops him screaming. My cat runs past me inside. Entitled mom, "Look at what you did to my son. Apologize to him right now." Me, "I did nothing, ma'am. That was your son's fault." Entitled mom, "This is the last straw. I am calling the police on you for abusive behavior and assault on children." Me, "Good luck with that." Entitled mom calls 999. The police turn up and meet a delusional mother and a calm, sensible teenager with a much more believable story. Guess who got fined and giving 6 months of community service? TLDR, entitled mom believes my garden is a park and performs home invasion. Gets fined for her actions. Edit. They gained access to my garden through a broken side gate. I forgot to include this information with the rest of the post. This next story comes from that name. Give my kid an A in your class or I'll ruin your life. TLDR at the end. Over 15 plus years ago, I was in grad school and was a TA, teaching a fairly low-level math class in return for not a lot of money. Most of the kids were okay. Some were great and some were just awful. I had a lot of latitude in how I taught this class and had decided to give them weekly homework. 15% of the class points, 3 exams, 50% but only counted 2 exams and would drop the worst grade, and the final, 35%. I didn't give points for attendance and told the students that my view was that they were all adults and can make their own decisions. If they wanted to be in class, that's awesome. If they didn't want to, that's awesome too, but they had to live with their decisions. I was shocked at how many students would blow off the class, i.e. they wouldn't attend any classes, turn in any homework, take any exams, etc. until about a month before finals and realized they were not likely to get an A, or D even, and tried to negotiate special treatment. Most of these kids realized they had messed up, knew they'd have to retake the class, and just seemed to be at peace with their decisions. But there were a rare few that refused to go down without a fight, and took this thing nuclear. These kids would turn loose their parents on me. I got calls and emails where I was insulted and had them demand I give their little darling special treatment because they are really intelligent and they deserve it. But the all-time champion was an entitled kid who not only harassed me for a week demanding I let her do extra exams for free points, she tried flirting, cajoling, yelling, and crying to no avail. I wasn't even surprised when her parents called me asking for special treatment, but I was flabbergasted when I got to my office one day and entitled kid, entitled mom, entitled dad, and some strange woman were all standing in front of the room where several other grad students had our offices. The parents and students smugly tell me that this is my last chance to do the right thing and let entitled kid get free extra points to get her A, and if I didn't, I would have to deal with Miss Bat Crap Crazy. This woman was quite short and heavyset. Kinda like a ball with arms and legs and dressed entirely in neon-colored lycra. I introduced myself to her. Me, hi, I'm OP, and since I'm not giving entitled kid free points, it sounds like you have something to say. Who are you? It turns out that Miss Backcrap was entitled kid's 5th grade teacher. She proceeds to tell me what a horrible teacher and human being I am, how entitled kid is a phenomenal genius that will likely save humanity, end world hunger and global warming, and cure cancer all by her 30s. But if I had awarded entitled kid the grade she'd earned, then she would likely become so disheartened it would stifle her ambition and she would deny the world her great talents, and it would be your fault. What I left out was that over the course of her yelling these details for at least 5 minutes, she was swearing at me, saying things that would make a sailor blush. Once again, I refused to give entitled kid free points. Miss Batcrap folds her thick arms and says, "Well, you did it now. I'm going to talk to your department chair, and he is a friend of mine and will not only fire you, but kick you out of school and ruin you." Entitled kid, entitled parent, and Batcrap all look smug and cocky, smiling and waiting for me to cave. I smiled back and said, "Let's go do that now." The smug grins had faded into confused expressions. What they didn't know was that every time I had an incident with a student for being inappropriate, I would notify the department and they would open a file documenting everything. Entitled kid's behavior was so extreme that the chair of the department had taken a personal interest in this case and had instructed me to bring him into this whenever I felt uncomfortable. We walked to his office and fortunately he was inside. I introduced him to entitled kid, entitled mom, entitled dad, and said, "And apparently you are friends with Batcrap?" He stared at her and said, "I don't believe we've ever met." The look on Batcrap's face was priceless. Chair proceeds to ask them what the issue is, and the parents give some wild story about how entitled kid deserves an extra opportunity for free points to get an A because she's such a genius. I told Chair that entitled kid had only done 2 of 10 possible homeworks, skipped the first 2 exams, and bombed the 3rd one, and that entitled kid had basically skipped classes for 8 weeks. Chair got entitled kid to admit that these facts were true, but when she started to whine and cry, literally, Chair raised his hands, got her to be quiet, and said basically that because they agreed with my statement of facts, entitled kid was not entitled to any extra points and that the department agreed with my course of action 100%. He said that if there was nothing else, that he was busy and surely I was as well. He wished entitled kid good luck and wished them a safe trip. Entitled kid never attended class again, though I did see her on campus a few times. She stares daggers at me and cursed me under her breath, but I just smiled and waved at her, which seemed to piss her off even more. Our final story for the day comes from XX Yoku XX. Entitled mother and entitled kid broke my hearing aid. So, over the past couple of months, my hearing has been getting worse and worse, and I'm almost completely deaf, and at 15 it really sucks. So my mom and granddad took me to get 2 hearing aids, one for use and another as backup. So this story happened last weekend. I'm really sorry if the story is a little blurry. I don't know how to read lips very well. EM, entitled mother, EK, entitled kid, me. So, I'm sitting on a train going back home from Dublin after spending some time with my friends, and the entitled mom and entitled kid walk into my train booth, and this is how the encounter goes. Entitled mother, "Do you mind if me and my little prince sit here?" Me, "What?" Entitled mom, "I said, can me and my, you know what, forget it." Proceeds to sit down in the booth. Entitled kid, "Mom, can I get something from the sweets cart?" Entitled mom, "Of course you can, sweetie." She looks for change, but she doesn't have any and turns to me. "Do you have any loose change for my little prince? He's been so good today, haven't you?" Me, no I don't, sorry." Entitled mom, "Prove it. Pull out your wallet." Me, "Excuse me, miss, but I'm not going to do that." Entitled mother orders entitled kid to try and irritate me as much as possible. Entitled kid, "What's that wire coming out of your ear?" Me, sighs, "It's my hearing aid." Entitled kid, "Can I have it, mommy?" Entitled mom turns to me, Well, I don't think you need it that much, do you? You can read sign language, and my little boy's been so good today. Me, I'm not giving you or your son my hearing aid, so if you would stop bothering me, that would be great. 20 minutes into the train ride, I take my hearing aid out as it has to charge and it's almost dead. Entitled Kid snatches my hearing aid. Me, you have to give that back. Entitled Kid runs to his mom as I go to grab my hearing aid. Entitled Mom, she's shouting at me, but I can only make out that I don't dare touch her little boy or she will call the police on me for assault and harassment. To everyone still reading, I'm sorry, but this is where the story gets a little blurry, because I can't read lips well. Entitled Mom, you know, I could give this to your grandfather, Jack. The conductor is walking around checking tickets, and when he comes to my booth, I explain everything that happened. Entitled Mom, but it's my little boy's hearing aid. He needs it, don't you? This part makes me laugh the most. Entitled Kid, yes, Mommy, I need it. The conductor, if he needs it, how did he hear you? Entitled Mom, he just knows when I'm talking. She dropped my hearing aid on the floor and stepped on it with her heels. I am on the verge of crying. Long story short, the conductor took me up front with him and we played some X and O's, some hangman, and I'm really thankful for what he did keeping me calm. Well, alright my dashing dudes, that's going to do it for today's episode of r/Entitled Parents. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and subscribe, leave a like and a comment. I'll leave the links in the description as always. But with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.